We live in unprecedented times, and I know you have probably heard this like every day, and you are like not sensitive to it anymore. So I'm not going to harp on
Mhm.
that, like how unprecedented it is and how ambiguous and uncertain and volatile everything has been. We all hear about it daily. So instead, I just want to bring a little bit of my optimism to you, because what one thing that I do think about daily is how fortunate we are as of educators, as of teachers, that we could make this transition. Because I have friends in the sports industry, in the travel industry, performing arts, all services, different services attached to tourism. Those are gone. They have no chance to transfer what they do like we do, and they're just standing there and go like, what am I gonna do now? How long is this gonna last? So it's hard to be online after offline teaching. For those who have always been online, they are like, what's the big deal, you know? Like, for example, Jackie, she's really happy with online teaching, moving from offline. She's like, oh my gosh, I never want to stop this, right? So there are all sorts of reactions, like physical, chemical reactions to this. But we can look at this chance that others don't have, and we still can deliver an incredibly valuable education to our students. And we need to flip a few things around, which we are good at because teachers are good at this. They are flexible and open-minded and problem solvers. So that's why an entire global teaching community, teacher community around the world could do the switch like this. They were told to teach online. A lot of them had zero knowledge about it, and they just went and did it. I think that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. So I'm so proud of every single one of you just for being here. That's all I wanted to say. And the other thing is that I cannot help wondering about that. I want to consider that this crisis may bring beneficial and very needed shifts in education. It's going to, or it is already tearing down the walls that were very restrictive and outdated, and it somehow redefines the ways of learning and teaching, and how can we teach, and who can teach who, and why. And a lot of us in education honestly hoped for this change secretly, but obviously not for the reasons that it happened. But it was so important. It is so important to see that these new waves are also exciting, and that we need to be on board with them, not against them. According to Forbes, and this is from 2018, in 2025, the online education industry will be worth $325 billion. I mean, I don't even know how many zeros, seriously. Like, and I just feel like I want a slice of that pie. I want to be part of it. And they predicted this before COVID-19. Like, just, I have no idea what the number would be today. But we don't have to be on this enthusiasm surfboard yet. You can go like, okay, hold the phone, Gigi. Let me get out of this fight and flight and freeze mode first, and then save the whole world. That's completely legit. That's okay. And the whole purpose of being here together is all about what we need to do right now in this setup. Basic things will be discussed to help to calm the amygdala down a little bit if you are still stressed about what's coming and what has happened so far. And those who have transitioned, and there are a few of you here who have transitioned from offline to online, they all agree that the lead up and the first weeks were the hardest. It was the most intense, to say the least. Like, you couldn't sleep, you couldn't eat. Oh my gosh, how are we gonna do this? But after a few weeks, the stress level does drop, because you know that, okay, it's working. It's hard, but it's working, and things get stabilized. So the next transition will be just like that. I want to make it easy and simple for you to transition into the summer season, and that's the main focus of the training practically. And as I said before, not on the recording, that the strategies that we share today can be applied on a much broader range of proactive and strategic planning, if you like. And I'm super excited to share these tools with you. So we can dive in, yeah? Any questions so far? Oh, cool. So I'm going to, one second, I'm going to share my slides for the visual learners who are here with us. I'm not sure how, can everybody see this, the slides right now? Yes? All good? Fantastic. Let me see everyone. Good? Barbara joined in. Did she join?
Hello.
Yes, she's here.
Hi.
Okay, fantastic.
A little bit late, but I'm here.
I'm so glad to have you here, lovely. I'm really glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Awesome. Good. So, summer planning workshop with Juji. You all know me, and the first thing I wanted to say that this is not one of those free workshops when the free part is like 15 minutes of fun stuff and then the rest is promotion. I will not sell anything to you today, and I'm not going to try to convince you about anything. All of this workshop is dedicated to our discussion, so no slides on my programs and why you should do something for yourself, or you know, just some loving and compassionate dialogues between us or discussions between us. You all know me, but I have like a, you know, a little intro if you never met me. I think that's not necessary right now, but in case those who will access the playback, I'm Zsuzsanna. I'm originally from Hungary, and I lived in 17 different countries so far. So I think I would call myself a nomad, if anything. Right now, I'm settled in sunny and very humid Florida, which I have to get used to. I'm settled here with my husband, who is a fighter pilot, and we are freshly married, but I have a huge crush on him, okay? So that's what I wanted to say about my private life. I'm an educator of 20 plus years, a tutor, a mentor, a teacher of all age groups, trainer of 1,000 plus teachers. I've developed curriculum for a while, and I'm also a licensed emotional integration practitioner. I don't know if many of you knew that. And I'm admittedly a research nerd as well. I'm also a misfit, a lefty. I mix my two hands a lot, left and right. I love ice cream, and I'm absolutely obsessed with this revolution of education that's happening as we speak. It's amazing. That's what I think about it. And I know there is a lot of hard stuff happening right now for all of us, but innovation and inventions never come from, you know, ease. They come from hardships and challenges. So that's how it happens. Today's topics: alignment, retention, recruitment, and summer planning. Alignment is when we talk about how to get aligned within a team, if you have a team or if you're part of a team. If you're solo, if you're a teacher teaching alone, as a professional service provider, this is about getting organized a little bit, okay, for yourself and for your own sake. As of retention, how is retention different in the summer months than the rest of the year? Or we could talk about more specifically, like how is retention different in the summer of the COVID-19 crisis, okay? How do you keep your students engaged and around with limited possibilities? And obviously I'm talking about the Northern Hemisphere mostly, where we have the summer as the break, yeah, the long holiday time. Not everywhere. That's not the case everywhere. I'm working with a school in Nepal. They don't have the summer holiday, for example. Recruitment options are very important to explore for those who want new students, especially if you're just starting out. But if you're an established business owner, you're still thinking about, if you have capacity to have more people, maybe you can organize them into groups, how to get those people on board. And we will also think about how to make sure that the right people are participating if you offer group activities, and also what to offer to newbies compared to your existing students. And we will think about price points as well. I hope that's okay with everybody. And finally, how to plan your summer model. Is it a hybrid one when you have some offline stuff offered, or it's purely online? So the first question I wanted to ask you guys: how are you in one word? And because there are just so few of us, you can also say it, but you can also put it in the chat if you want. So how do you feel? I feel excited. That's my word. If you have to pick a word, anybody can go. Let me see what we have here. You can use more if you want, Christy. This is not a hard question, guys.
I'm chill.
Chill, Jackie is chill.
Yeah,
Barbara
little
is
tired, not middle, yeah. Just
yeah, so chill / tired. That's good. And Barbara
yeah.
is an interesting educational mode. I like the educational mode. Yeah, that's not one word, but a very good expression. And I like Jackie's like, yeah, I'm riding the waves. Awesome, fantastic. So the next thing I wanted to ask you is, what do you teach? And I know most of you teach English in this particular case, not everybody, but the whole point is like just for you to get clear on that your subject will also determine a lot of the setup of the summer, okay? Like it's different if you teach horseback riding, and it's different if you teach dance, and it's different if you teach a language, or it's different if you teach skills to young kids, which are more like a daycare setting, for example. Okay, so that's, if you feel like answering. I mean, I thought there would be people here, more people who I don't know here, so that's an interesting question, because there were a lot of signups from many different countries. And finally, are you a solo teacher or a studio learning center owner with more people working for you or with you? That's the next question. And I know that Barbara is so far working alone. Are you? Mm-hmm. Yes. Jackie's starting out, but she's also part of a team where she works right now. And who else is here? Christy has a team.
More or less.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, that's an interesting concept now, right? Like, are they real or not? They are on your screen, right?
No, just, you know, we don't have so many teachers, and during the summer, it's very tricky because I have only one helper. Mm-hmm. So that's why, yeah, we are a team, but really not really.
It's not easy. It's not easy. I know, especially if you think about, you know, how do you organize all this? How do you pay people who you have to pay, and what's the budget, and how many people will join? So yeah, those questions are definitely worth considering here. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. So I wasn't absolutely truthful. This is the last question that I'm asking in this particular round of questions. Which of the 4 topics are the most intriguing to you? Which one is the most exciting or interesting? Which one are you the most curious about? Mm-hmm. Let me see.
I would say summer programs. Mm-hmm. Because I want to move online, like not totally, but you know, mostly. So this will be a first. I know I am ready for online teaching, but I would really love to hear, you know, some new ideas, you know, something fresh, because I have been teaching in primary school for 3 months. So I think I will need a week or 2 of a different mindset again.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Awesome. We'll talk about that, Barbara. We will talk about the strategies, mostly from the point of view of how to set up the summer programs, because the range of who is teaching what in what age groups and, you know, in what setup can really vary. But we will talk about a lot of interesting topics, and we have a call set up already, so you can also pick my brain there. Fantastic. And Christy says, for me, all of them are interesting, and Jackie agrees that they are all interesting. Cool. That means that we picked the right topics, right? Gorgeous. I'm trying to click. I'm sorry about the noises. Alignment. That's the first one that I wanted to mention. And the first thing that comes to my mind is proactive, being proactive. You know, that's one of my buzzwords, right? If we look at what are the biggest overheads in your business, it's wages and rent when you are renting a place. We are not going into the whole rent negotiation conversation. If you want to do physical things somewhere for the summer, you probably had those conversations already with the place that you're renting in case you have a place. However, it is time to have conversations with your team or with yourself about the summer, and just sit down with a notebook and paper or spreadsheet and have that honest conversation for yourself, with yourself. If you hold a team meeting, you prepare for that, okay? So if you have a team, you hold a team meeting. And I do this all by myself too, and I did this kind of meeting with teams who I helped to move online together, and it's really useful. The first thing that you do, if you do have a team, and even if it's 1 or 2 people, Christy, okay, that you thank them, you love them, you reassure them that it's only temporary, and how as a team we will get through this. This is an interesting conversation to have with yourself. And this thank you for being here for me today can be quite groundbreaking if you say it to the mirror or while you are sitting at your desk and journaling. So that's a really interesting exercise, regardless if you do it together with others or not. Thanking yourself or the team for being there and sticking through this whole thing, and in an authentic way, and obviously however it makes sense to you, and how you know how much love and appreciation is needed in general in life. We all need it, and some team members sometimes, and I saw this, are more deserving than others of this love and appreciation. Reassuring everybody and yourself that these too shall pass can be really powerful. We passed an amazingly difficult period from January till now, and here comes the next one. I'm not sure if it's going to be easier, but definitely the whole idea is to find balance. Yes, and it can calm the nerves to reassure everybody and remind ourselves that it's going to be just another thing that passes. It's also important to share a lot of wins from the past months. Parent testimonials, student talk, funny little stories that not everybody always has access to, or we kind of dismiss it in the frenzy if we are alone. Go back to those chats, go back to those emails and collect the good stuff and share it with your people, share it with your kids, share it with your parents as a newsletter or a little blurb here and there. This is what the kids said. This is the feedback we got. It's amazingly elevating and beautiful experience. And if you do have a team, it's a very good idea to share those with them because they don't always have access to it. The second point, what I mean here is to talk about how everybody is or how I actually feel. What are my expectations about the summer? What are their expectations if you have people working for you regarding schedule, wages, and conditions, and etc. This is something that you prepare for in advance, and you need to communicate honestly and openly about what's possible. This is where you need to converse about working hours and the rates and the ratios. It's not easy, I know that, but the whole idea is to state your intention, which is to stabilize the learning center. So you all can come out at the other end of this storm together, and you're trying to protect them, right? And that's what you're trying to do for your own business if you are alone, to set it up in a way that it can go through the next storm, whatever that is. Okay, so you can truly dedicate an hour just to take an honest inventory and make some choices here if you are a solo teacher. And finally, the third part of this meeting with yourself or with your team can be a sharing session about what challenges they had, What did they find really difficult? Just to be able to be compassionate with each other and to share. And sometimes that already relieves a lot. Like, hey, this was really hard for me. And this is why I was stressed. And just to be able to express it. And the next thing, to end it on a good note, is to ask what went well, what was surprising, like Jackie's story of like, oh my gosh, I love teaching online. Actually, this is a lot more fun than I thought. I never thought I would love it this much. And that's reassuring, and that's a really good reinforcement, especially if you are a one hero shop, yeah, like a solo teacher. 2 lists like this, these were my challenges, these are my wins. And to see that written down, I think it has a special energy if you write things down. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna dive into the retention topic, because that's probably the biggest one that we will talk about. Because retention is important for everybody. It doesn't matter who you work for or you work alone, where you want to keep your students, right? It's really important. So I invite you to think about retention and organize it around the thought of what will be your campfire, if we stay with the summer camp analogy, that brings your community together with warmth and nourishment and connection. What has been the campfire for how many generations? How can you be that? Or how can your studio or learning center be that, even in the virtual space for your people? We went through this brick to click transition. If you were not teaching online originally from the beginning, and every one of us, no matter where you taught before, went through the transition into the crisis of the COVID-19, the social distancing, the lockdown, the curfew. It was huge for all of us, for everybody. So from there, what I actually observed, we moved more into an era of into a realm of finding strategies to keep the students engaged and motivated over time. After that first thing, like, oh my gosh, Zoom meetings fizzed out, you still had to keep them engaged, yes? So that was like the next period that we embarked on. Yes, so what's the strategy for the student retention? Do you have anything that you have come up with yet? Do you have any ideas that you would like to share as a warm-up question? Like, I thought of organizing intensive summer courses weekly, or I thought I would put these and those students together so they have the social group phenomenon going on. Are you planning to do anything offline with the kids? Will you have a summer camp? Anybody who has groups of kids? I'm asking you to see if anything is going on here. Not yet?
Okay. But
Christy,
I was
what's happening?
thinking about to keep them informed, because we have the clients, the students, but of course the parents as well. So I'm planning to have summer camps offline, and for the bigger ones, maybe not kind of camp, because I wouldn't call it like that, but a kind of intensive course in the morning, 2 or 3 hours online. But this is only for the teens. But the younger ones, they need to be there, to be present personally. And I'm trying to get all the information, what could be the possibilities, what could be the restrictions, what regulations we will have to keep them. For example, we have to keep the distance, but with kids, how? So please, Monica, don't go closer to Beluca. So that's tricky.
These are the big
I'm
questions.
On that. And I try to get all the information from the parents as well, what they need, when and how they can imagine, what what they can help us to keep their kids safe during the day.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's what you mentioned here right now is so important. Like, we always had to communicate with, especially if you teach kids, right? We are talking about the industry where you work with children. You had to think about, you know, how to communicate and engage the parents as well, because they are the paying customers. Now it's like double or triple quantity wise the communication between you and the parents, because you don't have that human factor of like when they arrive, when they put their shoes on, you know, you don't just chit chat with them in the doorway, and that's missing. So they needed instructions to transition, and they will equally need lots of questions settled, as you said, and a lot of connection to be able to be engaged and stay engaged for the summer. So that's a very good point, Christy. Thank you. Thank you for bringing this in. I have 3 buzzwords for you here, okay, that we're going to talk about. What I wanted to point out, that we are trying to embrace new ways to maintain engagement and energy in our students and classes. Obviously, content and delivery are really crucial, like what you teach and in what frequency and how do you deliver it. But there are other factors as well. And I wanted to provide 3 factors that I think are essential in general when it comes to retention, online or offline, okay? And we're gonna talk about these for a minute because I love talking about this. Is my main topic. So progress, why is that the first one? We are providing a service, right? We're not selling something. Like, I love this bottle, okay? I take it everywhere. It holds cold or hot forever. I don't have to be convinced about the value of it, right? But with a service, it's much less tangible. So you have to show the value in multiple ways to people so they stick with you. Progress is one of the main reasons we pay for anything and keep going back for more. The learning outcomes is what we are talking about here that our students can have. And I do not mean standardized testing or assessments. That's like the school conditioning we have, like, oh my gosh, we have to score them. No, 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 no. They learn things and they need to feel good about themselves. And that keeps them coming back because they actually feel the outcomes that they are gaining. And I understand when I say progress, it feels like I'm achieving a standardized level. To some extent, it's very important that it's measurable, but it's much less strict like the old school testing, okay? That's not exactly what I mean. It's often more about that internal hormonal chemical reaction we trigger and activate, so we make them feel good about themselves because they have this feeling like, I've achieved this brand new level and I feel awesome about a reaction. That's what we can all relate to. When you keep going back to a gym program or anything else you ever signed up, you have that like, yeah. And here in the States, I must say this with all respect, all the respect that I have, they are awesome at this. They are really good at this. It's like, wow, we celebrate you losing ½ a pound if you are in a weight loss program. And all that is so awesome. It's good that there is so much to learn for us Europeans how to do that. Okay, because it's a different culture, okay? And it's not too much. It's not too much to celebrate real things. I'm not talking about when everybody gets like an achievement, you know, medal or trophy for nothing. No, no, no. When it's real, then it means a lot for them to know that you see it, they feel it. Tangible progress is the most highly linked to value exchange, okay? Just like here, it's tangible. And progress can be the most tangible you can provide these people. I hope that makes sense. So when a parent or student is deciding whether to continue the investment in in a program in you, or in you in general, you know, or in your course or materials that you offer, one of the biggest questions is, what do they receive as that sense of progress and self-esteem boost that kind of validates the whole spending, especially now that everybody pays attention to, you know, what they spend on. Okay, thank you, Jackie, for being here. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's nighttime for them. So she stayed up almost until midnight just to be with us. That's awesome. Okay, so us being able to convey and help them achieve that sense of worth, that sense of forward momentum, especially when so many of us are feeling we are kind of stuck, we are isolated, we are not getting a lot of that gratification, that validation that we hopefully get in life more naturally when we meet people. This is even more important now. Communication with your students needs to be strategized and organized around the progression and achievement in every way possible. Link it to that achievement every single time. Sending out emails with, look how many things we have done this week. Making sure that they know that you know how much they learned. That is so important. And if you teach kids, this is for the parents as well, because they're going to pay you. They're going to see the value exchange as much as the kids will. Next is variety, number 2. I know I was harping about progress a lot, but that's my main topic in my trainings as well, that I do with individuals or groups, how to create what I call personally a student pathway from point A to point, you know, D or F, depending how many stages you have, and how to describe the outcomes and make sure that they also know they achieve those milestones. So important. Variety is about mixing things up, surprising them. By the way, you will see how all these 3 are interrelated. The more joy of progress, variety, and connection we can bring to the experience, the better for retention, okay? While progress is about momentum, as I said, variety doesn't have to do anything with learning, okay? This can be whatever you think would bring a smile to their faces. I have a couple examples that I collected from my people. Surprise guests, pajama party, silly video challenge. There was one studio had the stupidest GIF or GIF file contest. Like, they had to collect what they found and send in. It was like a flood of these little memes, you know. Recipe sharing, which can vary from cookies to cocktails, depending on what age group you work with, right? Sharing stories, jokes, having meals together that you don't prep anything but the food for, and you just eat with them. Online karaoke, craziest lockdown memes and songs, anything flies. So this is for the community feel, okay? Also connection, which is number 3. We are also missing that lovely dopamine hit of ending the year with a big bang, which is often an end of the school year party with certificates and musical chairs and age-relevant beverages, yeah, whatever you do at the end of the year. It's crucial to deliver something that creates an echo of that, like anything that can possibly be similar to an end of the year, yay, we have been through this together kind of feel, okay? Another thing is, if you create an event, even if you do it online, that might be your best chance to enroll people in your summer courses as well, okay? Consider what can you do that is outside of the lesson that can still bring that feeling of accomplishment, connection, and variety, all 3 together, okay? So this is not about learning outcome, it's about connecting us together as a community. When this is happening, whether it's in a Facebook group, WhatsApp chat, giving people entertainment is as crucial as giving them value and useful information. A lot of teachers stuffing everything with content. That's the value, right? Tons of content, and they kind of forget about the rest of it. Like, if you think about the human factor, the glue between the lessons, when your students come to you, they are not only learning, they are connecting with each other and with you. And how can you enhance those elements? Okay, like the waiting room area in your learning center. That's what I mean, outside of the classroom. Okay. So any chance for your students or their families to come together to chat and share their unique experiences, extending the lessons, maybe every fourth lesson can be 15 minutes longer just to have a get together, leaving Zoom on for the students, and you still can do something on the side and moderate it, but let the students chat after the lesson ends. These are the options here that can help you online. Offline, as Christy said, it's still kind of a mystery. How do you keep 3 years olds or 5 years old apart from each other nonstop? Like, I have no recipe for that yet. We will see what happens, right? And my suspicion is that kids will just not care enough. And I don't know how to do that because they are way too natural and too spontaneous compared to us. Even I just hugged my friend mindlessly yesterday before even thinking, and then I went like, oh, you know, but she was laughing. Like, some people freak out. Anyhow, that's another topic. So, question, do you have any ideas that just came to you now, or you already were considering about planning to enhance the connection, feeling of progress, or feeling of momentum and variety with your students? I see Barbara has her thinking cap on. Her face is like, the wheels are kind of turning. Anything you want to ask or share about this whole topic of what to do for retention?
No, I was just thinking when you were talking about, you know, letting them talk a little bit after the lesson is over. That's what I have been doing with my Zoom sessions, and I used what are they called, breakout rooms a lot. And they loved it. They absolutely loved it. So it's there is so much that can be done. You just really need to just kind of think of how you could implement what you already know from your offline practice, how to implement that into the online lessons, because there is always a way. Always.
I love that approach. This is so cool. And yes, sometimes we don't think about some elements that are so obvious and normal. You know, like, of course I hang out with the kids with the coffee mug in my hand between the lessons. Of course I tie their shoelaces. That's kind of normal. But we don't have that right now. So think about what's normal that's missing right now, because we are in a new normal. And this is a brand new culture we are getting used to. The hybrid / only online culture. Yes. So we are all learning here. Thank you so much. That's really important. Christy, I see your hand.
Yeah. Sorry, just when I have all my headbuds in, I can't speak. So what I was thinking about, and what I am practicing during these weeks, as you mentioned, in normal, that's definitely natural that you can have a chit chat or something like that with the parents as well, or they have conversations together. And now when everyone's separated, that's missing. All the personal connections are missing. So what I usually do after the Zoom lessons, the kids change place with the parents, and we have a kind of parent-teacher meeting or something like that. So they can talk, they can ask, they can just put all of their thoughts on me, and we can discuss. For example, we have school enrollment time this time, and they are just telling what they or sorry, which school they chose and how it will go on, and they have all these kind of questions that what and how they can do. So this is very important because we don't have the opportunity to talk in person. So that's what we usually do with some groups, that we change places with the kids, and okay, bye bye, and oh, where is mommy, and we can talk. So that's important, and it requires much more time and patience from our side as well, because
Yes.
it's really more time than in normal way.
I agree with you 100%, and I love your idea of like giving the parents the hot seat for a minute. Yeah, you can do this, like you can schedule it. You can say this is the lesson when, and you send it out the week before, and they can get ready for it. It doesn't have to be every single session, because all that, like they dump their stuff on you, kind of becomes a habit, and you don't necessarily want to be the container of all their troubles. But at the same time, they need to vent a little bit, and all those normal conversations that don't happen need to happen somewhere, and to be mindful about that is absolutely crucial. And both of you had brilliant ideas. Thank you. That's awesome. Cool. I would love to converse more, and we will have more topics coming up. What I really do want to respect your time, and I kind of try to keep the 1 hour range, more or less. With the conversations, you cannot really predict that, but I really wanted to touch on the recruitment topic, because I have a couple, I think, good ideas how to gain more students in the summer, which is kind of not the normal thing to do, but we don't live in normal times, right? So before recruiting, it's a good idea to think about, let me back up. As of recruiting new students, some of you are ready to expand. Others are happy just to hang on to the edge of the raft in a whitewater rafting adventure, you know, and just want to survive all the whirlpools, and they are not ready for new stuff, okay? The retention topic was the most muscled up part of this whole call that we had here, as that's equally important for teams and individuals, as I said, for those who want to consolidate and for those who want to grow, and everybody who goes for online only or for the hybrid model as well. So, sorry, I had a call. Very good. Cool. So it's really important that before we talk attraction strategy, first of all, I want to think through all the contingencies of what would happen if we would bring new students into the mix, and how are we going to make sure that they get a good start, and to correlate that with what it's going to mean for our current students. This is like a whole new culture, as we just said. We are learning new rules and what makes most sense, and we're trying things out in practice. So the first question that comes to my mind, if you have new students enrolling, that's awesome. But do you want to do, like, if you do the summer camp style, which means groups together meeting almost every day or 3 times a week intense, and this is online, and offline setting is also groups. Yeah, you don't do summer camp for individuals. To have that enriched social experience, I recommend groups in general for intensive summer classes. Will you put the newbies and existing students together? That's always a big question. And the next one is, what access do you want to give the new students? Regarding online materials, you have a chance to differentiate who has access to pre-recorded classes, other recordings, bonus materials, etc. This is another question that's worth having a strategic answer to before you start recruiting new people. What feels good to you and what is simpler is what I would go for, okay? Because if you want to put new students into the mix, then they have to catch up with the existing ones, right? If you start brand new groups with the new students, then what do they get immediately to ensure the quality that you want to have in the summer programs? That's why I would go here for, there is like quite a complexity, you know, So you have to deal with a lot of things here, and just try to make it as simple as possible. That's my point, okay? Simplicity is important. Keep it simple and smile, or keep it super simple. I don't like the one ending with stupid. And that's what most people use still. Next, you want to figure out the price point based on your previous answers, right? Let's say the new students will pay half of the current student price because they get no access to your content vault and they don't have all the recordings from before, or because you launch a promotion. How will you communicate that to your existing students? Like, why would they pay the full price if other people pay the half price? So this is always important in recruitment strategy, to understand how the price point is set. Can you temporarily offer a lower price for your existing students as well, if you want to offer a lower price for your new students? Or will you actually offer a higher price to the new students and see what happens there? And then the old students will feel absolutely happy with you and will stick with you because they have this really awesome price that the new ones don't get. Maybe you want to work your price increase strategy into this whole thing. So there are all these questions to ponder, okay? Once we are at the price topic, do you want to charge a membership-like fee that is like the same for everybody monthly and they can participate as much as possible? That's one idea here. Do you want to charge by course, or you want to sell a package? How long is your package? 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, whole 3 months? A membership type setup is something to consider if you're planning ahead, allowing people to join the classes like for a particular age group, you know, a particular hour a day, every day, and they can join whenever they want and they pay a particular fee. That's a fun setup a lot of people go for lately online, and I know some of you will do offline groups as well, which will be interesting with young kids, as we discussed. We cannot possibly talk through all these topics. I'm just giving you these little prompts and touch points, but those are questions to answer for yourself, so you have a well-rounded strategy and you can go into the summer planned and in a proactive way. Just like the onboarding process as well, when we technically, and this is something to think about, we technically do not know who registers for our new class and who gains access to our class and to our babies, especially if you teach kids, right? Because we don't meet in person. So from a safety perspective, if you teach groups, especially young ones, and groups are the advantageous way of holding a summer course, okay, like not individuals, right? I must say that this is the right way to do it. Theoretically speaking, anyone who sees your ad can apply and join. So you don't want to give access to your kids before you know that there is a kid, you know, in the new family. And an idea for this is to hold what they call orientation calls before, and the families don't need to know that this is actually screening, but you say, well, we will talk a little bit and there will be a few families there, so they know there will be more than just them, you know, and we're just going to have a 10-minute call to get to know each other a little bit and to make sure we are on the same page in terms of what technical needs there are, and how will this whole setup look like, and make sure, and you're actually checking that they are who they are. Okay, they don't need to know that, but this is really important. You check if there is a kid in the family and it's not just some dodgy person, right? I know this is just maybe being too cautious, but I don't think it's overcautious, honestly. The zoo is huge. The online zoo is very big. We all know that. Think about this when you set up your onboarding strategies to include those little calls, okay? So that's one other thing to consider even before you start to work with new students, okay? Now, attracting new students. That's the meat and potatoes, as the vegetarian, yeah? Ways of promoting. are highly individual and largely depends on how daring you are in terms of promoting only in a radius where the newbies can come to you in person once you can reopen your real doors, or you want to reach out further and you're thinking of online classes as a global expansion opportunity with continuous and never-ending revenue as a possibility. Maybe you don't want to have students who are only in your area, okay? And your own strategy can vary. What you're comfortable with, okay? Social media reach out, paid ads, campaigns, whatever you are happy with, it's definitely worth considering what are you gonna do to reach out, okay? And there's one trick here, which is a really good one. Message those ex-students who are currently not learning with you, because we never know when will they be ready to come back. It's worth take your entire database, see who is not active right now, and send out a very friendly email. Hey, I want to know how you are, and I'm just letting you know that we are having these awesome new classes. Please let me know if you're interested. There's this story, this happened in my coaching group when a dance teacher sent out one single email in the evening to all former students and everybody who ever signed up for anything. And when she woke up, she had 60 new signups by the morning with payments completed. Like, you would not think that that can happen, right? So why not? It's free, right? You don't have to pay. You just have to write an email and send it out to everybody. So they may be in a completely different position than in February when they said no to you initially, right? That's the whole point. I cannot focus on promotion strategies. That is a separate call altogether and it's a different expertise, but I will share a single strategy that can help a lot with reaching out to new students. I want to think along those lines with me, okay? This is my baseline here. There are students out there who would enormously benefit from your programs. That's the baseline. There are students out there. We just need to bring it to them. We just need to deliver it. Already we have hundreds of teachers enrolling students from around the world into their online programs that only a few weeks ago didn't even exist. That's the trend. That's the norm. That's the new normal. Just free your minds a little bit, like in the very old movie, Matrix. Free your minds. At the same time, a lot of places, and this is a sensitive topic, okay? I'm gonna warn you. A lot of places and professional, educators providing education in your area or on your hemisphere or in your country are there, and they are struggling even more than you do. And they are still on that white water rafting tour, just hanging on, or they decided that this is exactly the right time for them to exit, okay? They may just close their doors and said, okay, I'm not gonna do this, and I'm gonna start something else. I'll move to another country and be a monk, whatever. So a lot of doors got closed lately, okay? And they all have student databases. All these people have students. They are not providing any summer camps, but they have a bunch of students, okay? Before we get wrapped up in a moral dilemma of how ethical it is to acquire their students, think about it more of in a kind of like affiliate offer way, okay? It is heartbreaking when someone needs to throw in the towel, and you can be the one who comes in and offers a contingency plan of some sort of a relief, helping them. A lot of them decidedly close their doors, and you actually are coming in helping with offering an alternative instead of those students being just with no options for the summer, okay, or for next year. After this call, I would like you to brainstorm of all places who may also teach something to your target age group and may not be able to or don't want to offer summer activities due to the COVID-19 crisis. This can vary from horseback riding camps to dance studios, dojos of different martial arts, other English teachers, other language teachers of not English but French or German or Japanese, whatever, think about who you can reach out to, and in a very friendly way, ask them if they would like to cooperate with you, okay? This is, by the way, common practice in entrepreneurship, okay? And you can offer them a lot of good things in return for acquiring their student contacts. It's common practice to have a process set up around this, and once you approach them with love and compassion and offer them either to pay a fee for them, to offer your summer camps to their students, or what I like the most is give them a percentage after each enrollment coming from their database. This later one sounds like an excellent solution because you only have to pay a success fee. If the kid comes from them, you give them 15% of the initial sign up or whatever you agree on. And this is a transaction. It's not you getting something from them, you pay them. And that's the beauty of being affiliates, that you only pay them if something really happens. If you get paid, they get paid. Without that, doesn't happen, okay? You have 0 gold coins in it before they actually prove to you that they can be of use, okay? Just think about what a significant opportunity can be in this strategy if you put your business hat on for a minute. It's not the human thing right now. It has a huge growth potential on the long run, not only for the summer. It's just another way to widen your network, just like we do it with ads and marketing. It's a tool, that's all. The best way to go about this is to invite them to a conversation where you introduce your offer and ask them to do the introduction and invitation to their students themselves. You do not just want to have the contacts handed over to you, and you don't want to approach them out of the blue like, hi, I'm Barbara. Who is Barbara? They have no clue. So these affiliates will send out an email or whatever message talking highly of you, recommending you to their own students. If they are business owners, they understand how this works, okay? Hi, this is Barbara. She's awesome and she has a really cool summer program. I trust her and I want you to go to her. There is this lovely opportunity of learning and having fun during the summer months. That sounds better, right? Personal recommendation is vital here because they already have the trust factor and they can hand it over to you in a very simple way. I understand right now it may feel a little icky, but other people are like, yeah, I haven't thought of this before. I can help. And it's true. Think about how you give these people grace and opportunity so they do not have to abandon their students just because they cannot or don't offer summer programs themselves. And they can also be compensated financially. And they are your fellow business owners themselves, and you can help them with somehow compensating and get something back from all the hard work that they put into their own business. So that's the attitude. I also see that you might worry about what reputation this approach creates for you. I see people like, oh my gosh, this is going to create slander. But honestly, if there is a transaction, if it's a deal, what would they complain about, publicly or otherwise? What would they say? It happens in an agreement, so they're not going to say anything bad about you just because you're approaching them with an offer, not with like, hey, give me your kids, okay? That's why the wording and the approach is really important. As well as bad rap, it can create a wonderful reputation that will make you the creative community builder who brings constructive solutions to everybody around the table through these difficult times. That can also happen, that they go like, wow, Barbara is really onto something here. I'm using you as an example. I hope you don't mind, Barbara. I want to say quickly that I see this huge relief in people. I don't want to be the party pooper, okay? But I see this huge relief in people who were forced to go online from offline, and now a lot of countries have the option to go back to the brick and mortar setup, like back to normal. And they're like, oh my gosh, everything will be like it was before. No, That's not possible, okay? So I really don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but it's not happening just yet. There is a chance for us to go for offline options in many countries. We cannot predict how comfortable our students or parents will be from a health perspective, right? How skittish will they be? Plus, how viable the in-person classes can be with social distancing. Can you really make it happen? Is it enough if half of the people pay for it than normal? Like, how does that work? And so it's highly recommended to go for a blend offline and online options, even if you do offer offline options. And predictions are, just to say this comes from educational department of a ministry in Australia, actually. The social distancing will be there for a year or more. Okay, that's the prediction right now. It could change, but that's what people who are decision makers are saying at this minute. So it may be time to embrace the new normal of how and sort of how to do things, and sort of release that cramp around holding on to what was. Okay, like I want to go back to how everything was. I want my Indian tents, that was okay, Native American tents on the grass field and all the kids gathering. What if there is no going back? And this is not about like turning the dial up on doom right now, okay? But looking at this upcoming summer as a new paradigm of incredible innovation and success, and choosing to see it that way, to pick that option and to have that perspective. This is a chance to get super clear on what you stand for, who you are, to widen your online marketing skills, to reach out to a lot more people than ever before and grow exponentially. That's a chance. Okay, so I wanted to bring more of that optimism to you. Summer strategy. And I know we are a little bit over time, so I'm like, ding, 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 and we can finish with a conversation, okay? So there are a couple points here that I wanted to share with you. Hybrid model choice or 100% online. I don't know if just offline is viable to anybody right this minute. As of the format, teachers and learning centers will benefit from sustaining a hybrid model of online and offline classes much longer than initially anticipated. Consider stretching your thinking to explore what would be required for you to deliver both of those lessons for 12 months. Then how would that work? So we can think a little bit ahead, okay? And staying fully online is an option too, but can you have pre-recorded classes that they get between the offline lessons, for example? Who will record that? How will you record it? What will be the content? What will be the content shared offline? What will be the content shared online? If you stay online 100%, you have a little bit of an easier way of planning all this. Yes? What to offer? Let's see the strategy. How do you decide what to offer? Again, this alone can be an entire training, okay? I think the most viable strategy is to look at what is the most popular program of your package. Literally pull up all the stats that you have. How many people signed up for this course? How many people signed up for that course? And hone in on offering something very similar. Feedback from your students and parents, as Christy said, is essential, absolutely essential. Some people put this up for a vote in their communities, but I do not really trust that those who vote will fully understand the difference between your offers and options. So I would not do this for programs like, do you want this program or that program? But maybe for the frequency, that's a good idea. To ask them how often do they want to meet, 3 times a week or every day? Which one would suit them better? Some people will be like, come on, give me as much as you can. I want my kid not to nag me for 2 hours every day. Others will go like, we also do something else. So 3 times a week is enough for me. It's good to test your audience, but with the right questions, okay? Back to what do you want to offer? Which program in your entire repertoire makes the most sense to open the summer doors with with a particular age group. What age group works the best for you? Do you want to offer summer courses for everybody, or just for, you know, 10 to 12, because that's the 80% of your students? It's really hard to offer the entire range in the summer. You want to really zoom in on the most viable products, or they call it SAP system, like systems, applications, and products analysis. And this is so important for you to see what is the most viable thing based on feedback you collect and your own capacity. Like, what can you prep? Like, how much time will it take to prep a brand new thing? No, 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 no. You want to revamp something you have already. And Barbara mentioned to apply things from offline to online. You already have at least the content there, and you can change the format. As I said, you can connect and openly ask your students what is doable, or just offer once a week, 3 times a week, everyday summer camp setups. It's your option. I personally think that intensive courses, as Christy said, will sell well. If you do not think in a membership format in which they sign up for the whole summer and meet a couple times a week, for example, at a particular hour every day, that's intense to deliver, by the way. It's not that easy to deliver. At the same time, you have a wonderful revenue stream that's coming in because it's a membership setup, yeah? I also, this is a tiny little trick here. I recommend you to sign up for OutSchool. It's a really awesome website. It boomed right now. I started working with them last August, and right now they hired 5,000 new teachers. So OutSchool is huge, and they just came out with their intensive summer classes, and you can get some ideas how to communicate these classes, how to emphasize the social benefits and the fun factors in your marketing by looking at their descriptions. Okay, this is just a little trick here to see what they say. Okay, I hope all this makes sense. So in 3 easy steps, I didn't make a slide of this, but it's easy to remember, okay? Step number 1 for summer strategy is decide what ratio will dominate throughout the summer. If you run a hybrid model, what is sustainable in regards of revenue, marketing, and planning? Yeah, if you do 100% online, same thing. What is viable? What is sustainable for you? What are you able to deliver? Number 2, analyze and decide on which programs are you going to promote, like of which programs are you going to promote based on popularity and demand and your ability to prepare it, or your teacher's ability. Like, how much do they have to get ready for this thing? And are you going to pay for prep time? These are big questions, right? Number 3, plan your summer programs with a frequency and duration framework, and fill that up with your chosen content. I'm gonna do 3 times for this age group, theme camps for a month. Okay, now I can put the content in. It's easier to make the framework at first and then fill it up with the content that you already hopefully have in one format or the other. I hope all this makes sense. And the recap slide is just to see how many things we covered in 1 hour and 19 minutes. It was a little bit too much time, maybe for some, especially those who started at 11 p.m. with us. But I think we covered a lot, and there is a lot of food for thoughts here for you guys in terms of alignment or student retention, recruitment, and summer programs. And my last question to you is, what was your big aha moment today? Like, what was like, oh yeah, which one was like, I never thought of it this way? Or you can share more if there is more. Who would like to say anything that was like, that's a good idea kind of feel? What are you taking home today?
Oh, okay, I'll start again. Mine was when you said that a lot of people, you know, went out of work.
Yes.
Lately.
Yeah.
I didn't think of it that way. I thought, oh my God, now everyone will see the opportunity and everyone will start doing things the way I do. But yeah, I mean,
sometimes they can't. Sometimes
yeah. You're
providers
completely
just
right.
can't provide their services the way how they used to anymore, and they don't have an idea, and you can come to them with that idea, you know.
I absolutely didn't see it that way.
Thank
And
you.
now I said, okay, yeah.
That's a good one. Thank you, Barbara. I love that one too. I'm like, I have to put this in the training. Yes, 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 yes. Cool. Thank you. Anything else that was there, like a big thing for Christy that you want to mention? Or, and I'm going to check who else is here.
I guess many big and tiny little tricks and tips were interesting. Some of them were kind of confirmation or just a feedback that we should think it over. The affiliate issue was something what can be. It's really valuable thought, but I can't see how it can work within our group. Usually, you know the whole system, how it works, and that's why I need to think it over, because I don't really know right now whether it can work or not, because we offer the same, I guess, almost the same.
Yes.
And it's within the family, it's a little bit tricky, because we can lose our students with outsiders. That can be a good point to find kind of cooperation with other things. I don't know.
Yes, partners of, like, if you think outside of the HD community, like who else is there who is not offering summer programs because it's so dodgy right now? Yeah, definitely. Or other studios that are not HD and did offer English lessons and now they don't anymore, or anything else. And it can be, the fun thing is that because if you offer online solutions, and that's why I'm advocating for keeping some of the online solutions around, you don't have to stick in your little neighborhood at all. You don't have to stick to your particular little, you know, circle. You can go anywhere, literally to any country, and approach anybody. So that's like a bigger picture here. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And yeah, as I said, no promotion. So I just want to thank you for being here, and you know where to find me. I have the website, and that's the Facebook group. I think you both are in the Facebook group, you girls, and the others too. I just want to thank you because I'm so grateful for the conversations. They were awesome, and I'm so glad that you participated. And yeah, this is why we did this today, to brainstorm and to get new ideas and to hear what others think and what others do. And I will actually stop sharing my screen to be able to thank you with my big face on the screen. And to ask you if anybody has any leftover questions. This is the time to ask questions.
Not really, but there is a lot to think about. Yeah, there is a lot to think about, but in a very exciting way. So I think this summer will be very special, and I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yes. Drink to that. It's only water. It's early here.
I wouldn't mind anything else being in
I know. It's just funny how differently sensitive people are around that topic in the world too. You know, like we come in Europe, it's very like easygoing, I think. Anyhow, cool. I had a lot of reference to alcohol today. Compared to the fact that we were working with kids mostly, yeah. But yeah, adult education is equally important, and part of that is teacher education right now, because we don't know that much about a lot of stuff. Nobody does, but why don't we figure it out together? That's the whole point. That was the idea behind this training today, to figure out as much as we can together and share, because it matters so much. And this is that glue that I was talking about in the retention strategy, right? To provide possibilities for others to share and ask questions. So thank you so much for being here. Anybody else? Question? All good? Fantastic. Have a wonderful Sunday, okay? The rest of your Sunday, wherever you are. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gigi. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.